Live.
Okay, hi everybody. Colette Brown here, our wellness advocate. Remember we were talking about mask me, how to eat so that your face doesn't break out underneath the mask. Very important information that she shared. And today she's sharing a recipe with us. Okay, I just need that here so I can see who's,
you can see that.
yeah, I need to see who's tuning in. So let me scroll up. Wait a minute.
Tighten up a little bit if you can, please, the two of you.
Yeah,
There.
okay, we are.
There you go.
Dear. Can you scroll up so I can see who's commenting from it? She's got an Android. There we go. Okay, Lindsay is here. Heather is here. Hi, guys. Okay, everybody's here. Colette, I'm so happy to have you here. We had a whirlwind of a moment and we realized that our ring light was not going to work, so that's why we're a few minutes late, and you will excuse us for that. Behind the camera is the ever dependable Tom Letitia. So everybody say hi to Tom Letitia.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, okay. All right. So
he's been coming through in every angle today.
I know. He was serving us wine.
He's a good husband.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to Tom. So Colette, let's just first talk more about you for just a minute, because when we call you a wellness advocate, I just want everybody to understand exactly what it is that we mean and what you do and how you help people.
Okay, so...
And especially, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but especially to Lindsay. Because Lindsay really, I've spoken to Lindsay about you personally and told her, you know, what you do, and I really want her to hear like firsthand from you. And she happens to be here.
Yay, I'm excited. So I come into wellness and I call myself a personal wellness advocate because I had to advocate for myself. And if you're ever sick and you're unable to do that, then somebody else, if they can step in for you and help you advocate for your own health, then it's amazing. So I consider myself an advocate for you. And I can do that because I've experienced it. I've gone through over 20 years of pain and all kinds of health conditions. And I've learned through the years to create a different lifestyle. And some people might wonder, how can you do everything that you talk about and embody? And it's step by step. It's making little choices every single day. It's making healthy meals like what we're going to do today. Instead of a traditional stuffed pepper with rice and meat, we're going to use riced cauliflower and vegetables in lieu of that, and reducing the inflammation, having a meditation practice, breathing when you get stressed out.
Do you want to talk for a minute about leaky gut and how your gut is connected to your brain and what that does?
So
I think that was one of the biggest epiphanies I had through Dr. Zach Bush, who anybody that knows me and follows me knows that I just adore his information. But the fact that your stomach and your gut is truly connected to your brain and that you get brain fog from not eating correctly is amazing to me. So do you want to talk about that for just a minute?
It is. So when we're eating gluten and we're eating lectins, there are elements of it that attack our lining, our mucosal lining. Lectins come from nightshades, from legumes, and they can be very toxic to the body. Eaten in moderation and cooked down, and we'll go over that a little bit today. For example, if you're going to have a tomato, you want to remove the skin, remove the seeds, and then eat the flesh, and then cook it down. So there's ways around it, but taking little steps like what we're going to show you today is really good. But the gut-brain axis, so when you're ingesting that all day long, you're having a bagel for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, pasta for dinner, cake for dessert, all day long you're getting dripped into with harmful ingredients. And this attacks your mucosal lining of your intestine, and it creates havoc. There's tight junctions that become loosened, toxins leach out into the body, and then it just causes this chaos, and it can cause inflammation, pain, eczema, arthritis. 95% of all autoimmune diseases are from the gut. So if you feed it good, it communicates through the brain, and it has this really nice symbiotic relationship of proper nourishment and then the brain communicates back to the gut, we're good, we've got it, and it's really nice. But when you start tipping that scale, you're eating too much sugar, you're eating too many lectins, you're eating too much gluten, it comes in a dysbiosis, and the system just can't handle it. And we need that good vagus nerve communication with the microbes and the microbiome. That is a whole nother subject, but we need to feed that microbiome so that it can function optimally. It digests our food. It creates vitamins that are essential to our being. And so that's what we're going to go in today and talk a little bit more about.
And so I want to say hi to Susie, who is watching. Hi, Susie. So happy to have you here. And also, let me ask you, so would you say this feels into more of a paleo lifestyle, a keto lifestyle, or crosses the barrier between the two? What do you look at in that?
So I am definitely more on the paleo side, and the reason being is that when you're eating a keto diet all the time, that low carb is just, it's really unhealthy, and it can throw your body off. And so if you're trying to lose weight and you want to drop your percent of carbohydrates to 20, 15%, it's okay. But on average, you want to get about 30% of carbs in your diet, and
so calories,
healthy
30%. Yes. So as an example, these carrots are carbs, right? Higher than normal that you'd be allowed on keto, but on paleo, they're okay,
right?
Which is very interesting. And we're going to cook today the stuffed peppers, right?
Yes.
And I do want to offer this up because I think this is true. If it's not true, just tell me. Just tell me live on the air this is not true. Because why not? But did I turn this on? I think I wanted to turn it on. I'm going to turn it on high, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think on your website, which is Wellnes by Colette, correct.com, wellnesbycolette.com, there is a paleo 30-day reset that they can download for free. Is that correct?
It's going to be, it'll be up momentarily. You can go back, and if you tell me that you want it, I will email it to you. So you just give me your email address, and it will be emailed.
On the website, there's the opportunity to ask for it. Yes.
Not right now instantly, but my website person is doing that.
Okay.
I'm not technically savvy enough to do that.
Okay. And if you want to do that and you can't reach her for some reason, just let me know. Lindsay says, I love that you are a health advocate for us. And Susie said, I agree. So that's really super. Okay. So let's start. This is heating up. I can tell because I can smell it. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in here.
Yeah.
And now I have this question for you. There is unsalted butter in the refrigerator, and I meant to ask you this earlier, but would you like to add unsalted butter to this?
We can.
Okay.
Because good fats are good.
Yes.
If this was canola oil or grapeseed oil or any other insert.
And how do you determine a good oil from a bad oil? Like, I know olive oil is good, I know avocado oil is good, but I don't know, some of the other oils, and I don't know how to determine them. So I just stick with what I know, which is those two. And butter, because I spread love like butter, and I love butter, so it's all about butter for me. But
as long as it's grass-fed. Right?
Yes, and which Kerrygold is. So tell them what is good butter.
So grass-fed butter, Kerrygold is fantastic. Olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil are great. You want to stay away from seed oils. I know there's a lot of controversy around it, but the way they have to process it, it just breaks down the integrity of the oil, and it's more detrimental to our health than it is good. And so you want to stay away from that. Any kind of vegetable, corn, soy, nut oil is fine too. So some people enjoy partaking in nut oil. So we can use olive, we can use some butter, like Nanny Bubby's doing right now.
I need a knife here, right here. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I'm not Nanny Bubby's kitchen. I'm in our kitchen in Laguna, and I rarely cook here, believe it or not. I love going out because our restaurants here are some of our most favorite in the country. This city is my most favorite in the world, actually, next to Vegas, where I was grown up my whole life. But I really actually don't know where anything is in this kitchen. I'm just learning because this makes the second time I've cooked in this kitchen. Okay, so we're starting with what?
So we're going to use there we go, garlic.
Garlic, okay.
And then just let that go ahead and start sauteing, and then we'll add in the onions.
Okay.
And I'm I'm going to chop some more parsley really fast while we're getting all this in there.
Go ahead.
Aren't these peppers beautiful?
Yes. There, Tom, the peppers, sweetheart. Tom has been doing a great job as a cameraman. So, hey, Shelly Kramer, how are you?
But you reversed this, and it is totally opposite of the way you normally.
I know, that's why I tried to do it back for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I wish,
sorry.
because it totally throws me off.
That's okay. Everybody loves you. Everybody's very patient with you. And so, if I'm patient with you, they will be too. He's doing the best he can. And he's doing a great job. Everybody give Tom a 1 if you think he's doing a great job, right?
Yay. I'm giving ones as I'm chopping.
Yeah.
And give me a 2 if you think I'm doing a bad job.
No, don't give him a 2. Okay, so the garlic is going. So I always find that sometimes if you let garlic go too long, the minute you smell it, it's perfect time for you to actually put in the next ingredient so that if you're smelling it, it's time. Okay. Heather gave you a 1. Sherry Barasa. Hey, Sherry, nice to have you here. Eva Kaplan says you're doing a great job. Eva Colette. Thanks for joining us today, Eva. So good. Okay, I just put the onions in. Oh, Tom Myers said, good job, Tom.
Good job.
And let's see, Shelly Kramer said good job. So everybody's on your side today. Not so much on your side the other day, though. Not up with that. I don't know what happened with those girls that day. Okay. All right. So, hey, Roseanne. All right, Roseanne. I wore my Ugg slippers for you today. You busted me yesterday on that. But I have to change shoes. I have to prep in one. This is a key maybe that you'll like to know. I prep in the kitchen in one pair of shoes, and then I use a different pair of shoes to actually cook with because my back starts to hurt if I'm in the same pair of shoes for too long. And then also, forgive me for that, and also if I'm making like Super Bowl, I was in the kitchen for about 14 hours, I change my shoes every 2 to 3 hours when I'm prepping. So yesterday, God love my friend Roseanne, she busted me on what I was wearing on my feet, so love you for that. So in here are the onions.
Onions, we've got the fat, good fat,
fat.
Garlic, and really make it your own. I love to tell people, you know, we didn't have the celery today. It's fine. We don't need the celery. We can substitute it with something else. The reason I like the celery is that it gives a little crunch. I personally cannot have nuts. I have an intolerance, and so unfortunately, I can't. But if I could have nuts, I might put chopped almonds or pine nuts. Something else in there just to give it that little texture, a little flavor.
So tell everyone basically what the recipe is. What exactly are we putting in here?
So recipe is in lieu of all the rice, we're replacing it with beneficial vegetables. So in here we have garlic, onions, we have carrots, we have parsley, and I guess is that it?
Carrots,
Yeah.
the meat. Oh,
And meat.
and here we go.
Cauliflower.
Got a picture of this, Tom? The rice cauliflower. So we are using the rice cauliflower as a substitute for rice. Now I know for paleo is not, there's no grains in paleo, but is rice considered a grain?
Yes.
Rice is considered a grain, okay.
It is, and by the way, I just wanted to show you before I pop these in the oven.
Okay.
Because I like them a little softer, and some people prefer firmer. You don't need to do this step. But I took out the seeds and the little spine, and then
yeah, show them inside. Just tip it so you can you see that inside? There we go. Good.
All right, so this is going to go in the oven while we're cooking that. Actually, I might need to remove a wrap. Let's see.
Oh, okay, careful.
Is there
yeah, third drawer. Nope, fourth drawer. Fourth drawer. There we go. One day soon I'm going to learn this kitchen. I knew they were in there. When I was cooking in here on Valentine's Day, I was like a fish out of water. I honestly did not know what anything was. So these onions are now getting soft, and do you think it's time to go ahead and throw the carrots in?
I think we can, yes.
Okay, so we pre-chopped all these carrots, and we left the skin on because they are organic, and you'll remember that most of your vitamins and minerals are in the skin of the carrots, in the skin of the parsnips, in the skin of so many other vegetables that we usually get rid of. And Colette suggested that I chopped these very small so that they would actually cook down easier, correct? And so when do you start adding some of your seasoning? When do you do that?
So I will put it in when we put the meat in, or if you want right now is a good time. If you like things a little bit saltier, it's a great time to add in salt here.
Okay. And so I always use kosher salt, and if you want, you can grab it right there. Okay. In that, do you see it right there?
David's?
David's.
Kosher salt.
I know, isn't that clever? I mean, who else but David would make
Is this
kosher
from the
salt?
Dead Sea by any chance?
No, I don't think so.
I'm just so curious.
Maybe. Palm Beach, of course. And why not? And why not?
The Dead Sea is an amazing place.
It is. And the Dead Sea salts as well as the Dead Sea mud.
Yeah. Amazing. So when I cook, and it's hard for me, I'm sure that you identify, to write a recipe because I do kind of wing it. Sometimes I look at my refrigerator and I say, what is in here? What can I make? What seasonings do I feel like having tonight? And I love fresh herbs, as Nanny Bubby does. And
you want to talk about that?
I do. So I've made my own blend, and I took a pea touch and I put it on here because I have a couple of different blends that I do.
You did a what touch?
My pea touch, like a label maker.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, the pea touch.
I can cook, but I can't craft, so I have no idea what that was. Okay, go ahead.
So it's a label maker, and it makes life so easy when you're trying to be organized. I love it.
Okay.
And so basically, inside of here is dried parsley.
Now, do you dry these? You obviously dry them yourself.
I didn't for this.
Okay.
No, but you can.
But you buy it already dried.
Yes.
Okay, and then you mix
but
them.
you could do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
absolutely.
So, all right. So what's in there?
And then granulated garlic, granulated onion, fennel seeds, ground, and some sage, salt, and black pepper.
And I want to say that yesterday when we were at Full House Fallbrook, that's a tongue twister, Full House Fallbrook with Cynthia Berman on her farm, she gave me this little jar of dried oregano, and let me tell, that's my wine, honey. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. My husband just handed me wine. He's so sweet, I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Is this supposed to help with tongue-tiedness? Yes, it is. But what Cynthia told me, which I thought was so sweet, it was a tip that I didn't know, is that if you wait, are you okay with oregano?
Yes.
Okay.
I love
so what she did is she said, do not crumble the dried oregano. Now I have a ton of dried oregano in my garden. Or not dried, but growing oregano. And she said, just let it dry and put it whole into the jar. And then take it and crumble it as you put it in. And she said the aroma and the oils then come out right as you're crumbling it like this into your hand.
Amazing.
And it goes, and you can smell it. Yeah, and you can smell as it starts. So that was a good tip, everybody, is if you are going to dry your own herbs, leave them whole and don't crumble them until you're actually, there you go, Colette is joining us with that, and you're not even tongue-tied. Don't start to rub them into crumbles until a long string. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
That looks so, and it smells so good.
Yes. See,
really,
that's
really
the
good.
one thing. Roseanne said, nice job, Tom. And she also said, love these Uggs. Even if you can't see them today. I'm going to show them at the end of the show, Roseanne. Okay. All right. So next. Now, do we need to let the carrots soften down a little bit?
So they can soften more, or they can continue to soften as we put the meat in, because they still are going to cook a little bit more. So it really depends, again, on your preference. Like, what do you like? Do you like it a little softer? Do you like a little crunch? So it just depends. We could go a little bit longer, but we still need to do the riced cauliflower, and then the meat is going to go in.
Yeah, and the juices from the meat will help the carrots soften, right? Do you want to put a little bit of the herbs in? now, or do you want to wait?
We can do it.
All right.
So we're going to take about 3 tablespoons, which I'll just eyeball it.
Oh my, that's good. Wow. Look at that. That's a really nice coating of those herbs. Can you get that, Tom? Beautiful.
Yeah. So let's see how that works, and we can always go more.
Yes, Roseanne, I have crumbled my herbs before putting them into the jar, and come to find out from Cynthia that the better way is just to put them in, dry them, put them in whole, and then crumble them as you use them, and that activates the oils and the flavor. Now, look at what those herbs did to this.
Beautiful.
It softened everything. It gave it extra. It brought out the flavor. You know, and again, I always say that there are 4 things that help to flavor that you have to pay attention to. One is acid, one is fat, one is sweet, and the other is heat. And so, you know, and there's many things that can give it sweet. And did I say salt also?
No.
Oh, so it's salt, fat, heat, and acid.
Salt, fat, heat, and acid.
Salt, fat, heat, and
Okay.
acid. Yeah, those are the 4 things that you want to pay attention to when you cook a dish. And if you taste it and it seems like there's something missing, you want to say, okay, we didn't put, as an example, maybe a little squeeze of lemon juice in this to add the acid, which brightens flavors. So there's different techniques that over time you learn, which just a few years ago I had no idea. I had no idea. And it makes me so happy to be able to bring that information. And I'm like, where was somebody giving me that information years ago?
I was just thinking, we were talking about intergenerational cooking.
Yes.
And how my girls are in the kitchen with me, and I'm sharing just like we are here today, and they're learning what I do, and then they're going to pass it down or teach their friends or go off to college and be the good chef, you know, whatever, of the dorm. And it's so important to do this. Like, you're really doing a service to other people and sharing, because every culture, we have the same spices in general, and other cultures do way more. I can think of India, the Middle East.
Oh yeah, India for sure.
Yes.
It's all about the spices, right?
But you can cook the same thing, but it turns out different because of the season mixtures.
And do you know that oregano is actually a Greek spice? It originated in Greece, not in Italy, you would think. Of course, it just, you know, hopped over the Mediterranean a few, 100 miles, but oregano is originally a Greek herb that was adopted by the Italians. And honestly, I hope all of you have downloaded the 19 herbs and spices that are essential to your kitchen. It's a free download on my website. I always forget. So go to nannybubby.com and go to Happy Kitchen, and you can download the herb guide. The refrigerator guide and the pantry guide is coming out soon. And also, I really want to say, I don't know, I was telling Colette that I have this dream. Shall I share my dream with everybody? Okay, so I have this dream that maybe in a year from now, when all of us can travel, that so many of you who love to cook will meet me in Italy. We'll find some sort of Tuscan cooking farm that has a cooking school. And, maybe 20 of you can meet me in Tuscany, and we can do a cooking school for 5 days and go on tour of Tuscany, which I think would be fine. And I think my family's going to meet me there, either before or after, and that will be so fun. So get your reservation in now. We're getting there. But I really do have a dream of that. How fun would that be? Tell me, give me a 1 if you think that would be so fun. Give me a 1.
I think a dry farmed wine tour would be in order with that, right?
Yes. So, I talk about dry farm wines all the time, and I laugh about it because, I really push dry farm wines. I always say dry farm wines is not paying me to say this, and believe me when I tell you, nobody's standing in line to pay me for anything that I endorse. Okay, so, and I really hope they never do, because I really only want to recommend things that I truly believe in. So I might take a kitchen cabinet sponsor, but I would not take a food sponsor because I don't want to sell my soul to the devil. And God only knows there are plenty of food devils out there, and I don't want to do that. But Dry Farm Wines is a company. You can look them up, dryfarmwines.com. Of course, there is a product called a Dry Farm Wine that is grown here in America. But the problem with the Dry Farm wineries here is that there's tons of glyphosate present, and that is why Dry Farm Wine Company doesn't.
They vet that for you.
They vet the glyphosate levels.
Yeah.
It's so sad we have to do that. But nonetheless, what happens is Dry Farm Wines goes out to wineries all over the world, New Zealand, Australia, South America, mostly Austria, Italy, France, and Germany. Most of their wines come from there. I love their French wines because those wines are made the way that our ancestors used to make wines generations ago. And I learned from Colette that the word dry farm actually means that there's no irrigation. They just let nature grow the grapes, which I love because many of you may not know this, but in Caliente, Nevada, in Rainbow Canyon, grapes grow wild. I love Rainbow Canyon. So anyway, there's that.
My favorite up north is Kukula.
Kukula.
Yeah, it's a Dry Farm winery, and they don't believe in the pesticides, and it's amazing. It was by chance, but whenever I go wine tasting, I always hunt.
Okay.
Yes, that smells so good. It's looking so good.
It is, and I think I smell so many herbs that I feel like it might need a little more
salt?
kosher salt. Yeah, so we'll do that. So one of the things that I also love to talk about is everybody cooking through instinct and intuition. So I would love for, this is what you're talking about is, it says 2 teaspoons,
Right.
salt, but what if you really feel that it needs 3? In fact, I would love to do a cooking class called Don't Cook with a Recipe. Wouldn't that be so fun?
I love it.
Like, here's the ingredients, and Roseanne is typing 11111 for one to meet in Tuscany, right, Roseanne? So I'm with you there. And everybody who signs up and comes gets a free pair of UGG slippers.
Oh
my God, that's so funny.
It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, Roseanne's the one who busted my shoes yesterday. Okay. So, all right, this is looking like, now, do you want the meat to be completely cooked, or when you put it into the pepper, it'll finish cooking? What's your feeling about that?
I like to completely cook it.
Okay.
Because sometimes you might have to cook it a little bit longer. So I like it when it goes in just to be done. And depending on your style of eating meat, some people eat kosher, so there's no meat and cheese together. If you're not kosher, you could top it with a little goat cheese, manchego shredded, or actual goat cheese, or you could top it with a little almond flour just as a little garnish. Fresh basil, which Marla just said it's at Trader Joe's. It's the only place that has it right now. Little basil.
It's actually out of season, but Trader Joe's has a hydroponically grown fresh organic basil, so it's there 24/7, which I love. I love because when it's out of season, you can't find it anywhere else but Trader Joe's. Now, I am using 85% ground beef, organic, from Eel Farms, from Whole Foods. I have a Whole Foods like walking distance from my house here in Laguna, which I love. And so this is just about done. So what are we putting in next?
I think we need to do some parsley.
Oh, okay.
And
I'll make a little well for you.
Okay. We'll leave some for garnish.
Okay. So we're just going to fold that in for the green. That's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to need to put in our riced cauliflower once that's in. Give that a second.
Okay.
And how easy is this?
It's fun too, and it's also fun to be cooking with a partner.
Yes.
I love that, which I did yesterday with Cynthia too. We had so much fun. She made a charcuterie board. Neither one of us could say it by the time we got on the air. But it's actually great. So we are using this riced cauliflower in place of actual
Which is such a fantastic alternative.
Yes.
And it's so easy, you can't mess it up.
So let me tell you about this. Here's a little trick. This is what I love. So if you take, because cauliflower, because it's a, what is cauliflower actually? It's a, what kind of a vegetable is it?
Cruciferous.
A cruciferous, yeah. It's very pungent, but it can also be bitter. And so what I love about cauliflower is putting salt in with it and putting sweet paprika in it.
Nice.
Because the sweet paprika, which is my favorite herb and spice, actually not an herb, it's a spice. And what this does to the cauliflower is it gives it a color of it looking like fried rice. So I love that. I love putting that into the cauliflower.
I saw you do that on one of your shows. You you did a sheet of vegetables, I think it was cauliflower, and then you sprinkled paprika. And I've never done that. I usually do my sheet of vegetables and I use like a Himalayan salt and some pepper and olive oil. And so that night when I was making dinner, I did a Nanny Bubby style and I put some sweet paprika on it. And the girls were, ooh, Mom, this looks good.
Well,
What'd you do?
Yes, you know what it was, is that when I make ikema fries, if you put the sweet paprika over them, they actually then come out looking like French fries.
Oh.
Because it takes on like a yellow kind of burnt, like as though we fried French fries, like they were potatoes, but we used sweet paprika on the ikema. And also, I wanted to mention my sister is opening up a wine distribution company. She just got approved through her background check. And now they're in front of the city for a full license, but she's in a wine distribution company, and so she just said she's going to look for dry farm wines to bring into Las Vegas, which would be great, Heather, because nobody else brings it in.
Amazing.
And I think there would be a great market for that. A great market.
That would be amazing.
Okay. All right.
This looks so good.
It does. So, can you get a nice tight shot of that, Tom?
I want to say with this, a lot of times people use tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
Or you can use fresh or canned. But if you are going to do it, remember to remove the skins and remove the seeds. But you will find that it's fine to eat it this way too. And as a variation to this, if you wanted to add in raisins.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Or you could cut apricots.
Oh, wow.
And you can make it really just kind of flavorful. You probably could put apples in here too.
Oh my
I know
gosh.
I've seen you cook with apples before too.
Yeah.
But you can just give it like an extra, something else that's really makes your palate kind of like, what is that?
So let's talk about, I love that idea of putting in raisins in this. That would be amazing. So let me ask you about paleo lifestyle. Is cheese actually considered paleo?
Cheese, it depends on who's defining paleo, and I find
Sorry about that.
lights out. So I find that that really customizing where you're at is most important, and what is fact is that the molecule, the protein of cow's milk is much larger than the protein of sheep or goat. So when you ingest it, it's a little bit harder to process. So when you're eating any kind of dairy, then use the goat or cheese. Now, if you are trying to do an elimination diet, you're trying to detox, completely eliminate any dairy that you're consuming because you could have allergic reactions to it. And also, to digest the cow's milk, you have to produce lactase. And I think the statistic is like 90% of people don't have that digestive enzyme in their bodies.
Oh.
So genetically, only 10% of people do. So some people can plow through milk, no problem.
Right.
But they have that. And when you're eating the cow's dairy, unless it's raw, especially when they pasteurize it, it gets taken out with the heat. And so you don't have that help of the lactase.
But you recommend sheep or goat cheese as opposed to cow cheese.
It's easier to digest in your body. And I want to share one other thing with you. This is a personal story. My little sister, she had candida before it was even known or recognized. It's still not recognized by a lot of the community. She was losing weight. It was a year. She was becoming really almost anorexic. Like she could not hold food. the doctors tried everything, and there is a farmer's wife where I grew up in Yakima, Washington, that told my mom, go get her goat's milk, raw goat's milk. That's what we used to give the babies that were losing weight. And so sure enough, after a year of struggling, she gave her raw goat's milk, and her system just turned.
Wow,
It was
that fast?
fascinating. Just
Like
flipped.
immediately?
Immediately. She started gaining weight, holding on to food. Her diarrhea stopped. Like, it was
Oh.
a complete reversal.
Bad word while we're cooking. Okay. Do you want to pull those out of the oven?
Yes.
Okay.
They look great.
Okay.
Okay. I need to
Let
get
me
mine.
get your little pads, and I want to make room for you to set that on top of this so it doesn't burn the counter.
Okay.
I'll move this over.
So.
Now, also, I just wanted to say, because you know how fanatical I am, I think people are actually commenting and I'm missing them. Am I getting them to
Do you want me to look?
roll up? Yeah.
Okay.
So we lined this pan with parchment paper just to keep it safe from any toxins from whatever aluminum or metals are in it. And so there's that. Okay. All right. Did I get them all? Was I to the bottom?
I think that was it.
Okay.
Hi, somebody said hi, Connor.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
So I'll let you, do I need a spoon?
So we can spoon it in. This probably would work great.
Yeah. Let me just look at this.
So if you prefer to have a little bit of a softer shell on your pepper, then you can cook it a little bit longer. There's a couple of ways to do it. I like to cook it first for about 15-20 minutes, and then
Here, let me get this burner closer to you. Yeah. There we go.
all right.
And I'll hold it because it's
All right.
unstable on here.
So we can just put these inside, and then what you can do here is, if you like it fresh or crispier, then you can stop here and you can just eat it. Or if you like it to be cooked a little bit more, then you put it back in the oven and let it go for about another 10 to 20 minutes
And what temperature?
at 350.
Okay. So I
That's
love,
the universal temperature, isn't it?
isn't it? Yeah. In our house, it's 425.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yeah. I cook everything hot and fast.
Yeah.
Just like I like my men. No. You don't expect a nanny Bubby to say that, do you? Oh, but we are a different breed, nanny Bubbies of the 21st century. Okay. All right. Tom's laughing behind the camera. Okay.
Can I also say,
Yes.
here's a tip, because people love to meal plan, right?
Mhm.
Or they love to, but they don't know how. But look at all this extra that we have.
Mhm.
So what can you do with that? I would take
Give it to Tom.
Give it to Tom.
It goes in a night.
So what you could do, if you don't have a Tom at home, you could put it in a Colette Cool,
Uh-huh.
put it in a Ziploc bag or freezer safe container.
Uh-huh.
Write on it stuffed bell pepper mix.
Uh-huh.
And so the next time you want to do a stuffed bell pepper meal, you pull out your bag that's already done.
Oh my.
And then you just buy your bell peppers and you warm this up while these are in the oven, and then you have a meal within
Isn't that
minutes.
amazing?
Yes.
Yeah. That you have a lot of pro tips when it comes to cooking ahead. And that is something that I don't do very frequently or very often, but I realize what a loss that is that I don't consciously think of that at the time that we're doing it.
Yeah. Especially if time is limited and you're a mom that has kids, that's working, that's caring and nurturing your family, and you don't have time.
You don't.
So you have to think of ways to help nourish your family, and this is one of them. So, and if you thought this was going to be enough, or you want to make extra while you're doing it, do it. And that's why I make my own blends too, because adding parsley, garlic, onion, what else do I have? Fennel seeds, sage, salt, pepper. It's a lot of opening and closing and dumping, and so if it's all together, then I just put it in. It's so fast.
Hey Nancy Cleveland, so happy to see you here. Colette is here. She's cooking with me.
Hi, Nancy.
And we're having a great time together. This is my second time meeting Colette in person, even though we've known each other now for quite a long time. But We're Zoom buddies, by the way, as Nancy Cleveland and I are, and Facebook buddies as well. And Sherry Barasa is here, and I just love that. So now she's putting the tops on, back on, Tom.
Bit, but it's fine.
Okay.
And if you wanted to make it a little bit softer so we can cook these a little bit longer, or you could, if you want to do your cheese, you would sprinkle it on. And you can still do it later. You can just remove the top, sprinkle on the cheese,
and this actually is a great pan to put into that oven because it's got a high edge, so your peppers aren't going to be falling over. And into the oven, if you want to follow it into the oven, Tom. There we go.
There it goes.
So can everybody give Tom an applause for great camera work? Hey. Oh yes, thank you, Jennifer. Tuttle is here. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming. We were making stuffed peppers with Colette Brown, our wellness advocate. You can find her at Wellness by Colette on Instagram, on Facebook, at Colette Brown, wellness advocate. And this was lovely. Any last words? I'm so glad you came down.
I know, me too. Just really figure out for you in your own personal journey of wellness and nourishing yourself and your family what works for you. And it's okay to do it different. It's okay to take away something that we gave you today. Maybe it's just swapping out the cauliflower, the rice for the cauliflower, but just personalize it, customize it. Don't make it so overwhelming where it's hard to do. Just give yourself grace and every day show up for yourself and be patient, and slowly, you'll see that you can start making drastic changes in your health by doing simple things like this, and watching Nanny Bubby, because she's going to keep giving you great tips.
Thank you. And remember, by the way, Tom, everybody's giving you thumbs up. We got a ton of people giving you thumbs up on the camera work today, so that's good. Thank you guys so much for that. So remember, you can go to Colette's website to request the 30-day Paleo Reset. You can go to my website, nannybubby.com. And your website is wellnessbycolette.com. Nannybubby.com to the Happy Kitchen, so you can download the free 19 essential herbs and spices for your kitchen. I don't push that enough, but I think that all of you probably have it by now, but just in case you don't, I wonder, Sherry Barasa, let me know if you have downloaded it, because I'm not sure if you're on my mailing list or not, because I have quite a few people on my mailing list, but I know just about everybody else is. But Sherry, you need to tell me if you are. And Jennifer Tuttle, I believe, is. So we're all good there. So get your 19 essential herbs and spices from nannybubby.com Happy Kitchen tab. And that's it today. I just want to thank you, but I want to remind everybody that tomorrow from Salt Lake City, the Salsa Queen is joining me. So I want to tell you,
amazing.
She is a single mom, 7 children. Imagine feeding that group. 7 children, single mom, comes up with this idea for salsa, or has a recipe, long-lived family recipe for salsa, starts a company. It's one of the fastest growing salsa companies in the Southwest. She's got a wonderful story, and she's joining me on Zoom tomorrow, because Thursday is always breakfast for dinner. So I do most of my interviews with people on Thursday. Amazing. So that's it, everybody. Colette, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, I want a hug. Thank you so much. It's great. And all together, do you have your wine?
I do.
So as we say goodbye, and I want all of you to say it with me as well, go out and
spread love like butter.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.